In her ambitious endeavor, Judith Evans seeks to navigate the landscape of second-wave feminist theory, spanning from 1963 to 1994, by dissecting a selection of seminal texts. Evans employs a familiar taxonomy of feminist schools of thought, each represented by key figures and their works. Liberal feminism, Betty Friedan, Alice Rossi and Susan Okin; early radical feminism, Shulamith Firestone and Juliet Mitchell; strong cultural feminism, Mary Daly and Adri Enrich; weak cultural feminism, Carol Gilligan; socialist feminism, Iris Marion Young; and postmodernist feminism, Joan Scott and Judith Butler. Additionally, Evans dedicates a final chapter to the legal challenge, examining the contributions of Carol Backey and Catherine McKinnon. Throughout her analysis, Evans threads the tension between concepts of equality and difference that persist within and between different feminist schools of thought, as well as within individual thinkers. It is evident that Evans' focus is predominantly on Anglo-American feminisms, with major texts primarily authored by white feminists from the US and the UK. While Evans briefly considers critiques from prominent black feminist theorists like bell hooks and Audre Lorde, and makes general references to post-colonial and diasporic feminisms through figures like Gayatri Spivak, her treatment of voices outside the established white Anglo-American tradition feels marginal. This discrepancy raises questions about the inclusivity and currency claimed by Evans' title, given the limited scope of representation. Within this framework, Evans offers more in-depth discussions of individual theoretical projects, by focusing on a select number of texts. Particularly in the earlier sections, Evans provides useful summaries of various feminist thinkers, and contextualizes early second-wave Anglo-American feminism within left politics. She also tracks the emergence of critiques regarding exclusions based on race, sexuality, and class within different feminist schools of thought. However, Evans' analytical framework reveals some shortcomings. Throughout the book, she highlights the under-theorization of the concept of equality within feminism, but fails to offer a sustained attempt to address this deficiency by developing her own theory of equality. While acknowledging feminist theorists who challenge the equality-difference dichotomy, Evans does not systematically engage with alternative perspectives, such as Joan Scott's argument in Deconstructing Equality versus Difference. Scott's assertion that demands for equality arise within the context of differences is not thoroughly explored by Evans, leading to a persistent presumption that radical equality can only be achieved by recognizing a fundamental sameness between men and women. This oversight colors Evans' treatment of difference throughout the book, positioning it as inherently opposed to equality. Evans' treatment of difference theorists within second-wave feminist theory reflects a recurring attitude that is compounded by her decision to sidestep critical themes that have been central to debates within the movement. One such theme is the delineation of the sex/gender distinction and its evolution within Anglo-American feminism. Understanding how individual theorists or schools of thought define and navigate this distinction is pivotal in comprehending their celebration or valorization of women's experiences. However, Evans provides only a superficial explanation of the sex/gender distinction, failing to acknowledge its contested nature within feminist theory. Closely intertwined with the sex/gender question is the differentiation between the categories female and feminine. While Evans often employs these terms interchangeably, many theorists make critical distinctions between them, highlighting the nuances in how they perceive the relationship between female embodiment, women's social positioning, and the cultural resources available to women. For instance, in discussing Carol Gilligan's work on a feminine voice and ethics of care, Evans substitutes the term female without adequately contextualizing Gilligan's contributions within debates on the female/feminine and sex/gender distinctions. This oversight leaves readers, especially those new to feminist theory, without the necessary framework to situate Gilligan's ideas within broader discussions. Introductory readers would benefit from a deeper exploration of how feminist theorists across the sameness-difference spectrum have utilized the concepts of sex/gender and female/feminine distinctions to address issues of biological determinism, essentialism, and social constructionism. By glossing over these debates, Evans oversimplifies the dichotomy between difference and essentialism on one hand, and equality, sameness, and social constructionism on the other. This reductionist approach obscures the complexity of feminist thought and undermines the richness of theoretical discussions within the movement. Moreover, Evans' treatment of difference theorists lacks depth and fails to engage with the multifaceted nature of their arguments. By neglecting key themes and nuances within second-wave feminist theory, Evans inadvertently perpetuates an narrow understanding of feminist discourse. A more thorough exploration of these contested concepts would provide readers with a more nuanced perspective on the complexities of feminist thought, and foster a deeper appreciation for the diversity of theoretical approaches within the movement. In the later chapters of her analysis, Evans touches upon contemporary difference theorists like Iris Marion Young, Joan Scott, and Judith Butler, yet she fails to delve into the burgeoning debates surrounding theories of identity, the self, and difference within feminism. Evans categorizes these issues as philosophical/metaphysical, positioning them outside the scope of her discussion. While it's true that feminist engagements with postmodern and post-structuralist ideas have complicated these debates, Evans' decision to gloss over the theoretical foundations of contemporary approaches to difference has significant implications. For instance, Young's recent work advocates for a redefinition of concepts such as the public, the civic, and politics based on reconceptualizing identity and difference. However, Evans' interpretation of Young's ideas overlooks the philosophical depth of her project, reducing it to a simplistic endorsement of identity politics. Similarly, Evans' treatment of postmodernist theorists like Joan Scott and Judith Butler is cursory and lacks substance. She makes sweeping generalizations about postmodernism, characterizing it as solely concerned with texts and promoting relativism. This oversimplification ignores the complexities of postmodernist thought and its implications for feminist theory. In the case of Butler, whose work is admittedly challenging, Evans quickly moves past the philosophical aspects of her inquiry into the nature of identity, and focuses instead on her exploration of the potential for a politics of identity. However, Butler's examination of identity politics cannot be divorced from her broader interrogation of identity and power, a dimension of her work that Evans neglects entirely. While acknowledging the difficulty of presenting complex ideas in a survey format, Evans' oversimplified treatment of Butler, Young, and others may alienate readers familiar with their work and leave newcomers struggling to grasp the nuances of their ideas. Coupled with the analytical shortcomings identified earlier, this approach may hinder rather than facilitate understanding of contemporary feminist theory. An effective exploration of these theorists requires a more nuanced examination of their ideas and their relevance to ongoing debates within feminism. By providing readers with a deeper understanding of the philosophical underpinnings of contemporary feminist thought, Evans could offer a more comprehensive and insightful analysis of the evolving field of feminist theory.